Old Crones House posted by you/creamy spudge. I don't want to live here anymore, Dad. I want to go home. Sarah whimpered, sinking deep into the antique bed. I know, sweetie. I do too. Jason tucked his little girl into bed and kissed her forehead. Once Daddy's got an ending for his book, we can leave, okay? It was a white lie, but a lie nonetheless. Jason hadn't even started his book. 7 months ago, Jason was a lowly online journalist. The pay was good and the work was easy, but it was never enough for him. Jason longed for recognition. He had ambitions, drive, passion, or at least that's what he told himself. A friend at work had told Jason about a haunted house he was researching, Old Crones House. A small farmhouse in the country, outside a town called Wickshire. It was said to have been inhabited by a witch. She would prowl the town in search of children to take and sacrifice. It wasn't long after that Jason was talking to realtors, and to his surprise, Old Crones House was available. Everything was falling into place. He had the subject matter and the setting. This was it. A week before the move, a few of his friends had tried talking him out of it. It's not fair on Sarah, they would say, but he wouldn't listen, especially as all of his writer friends loved the idea, as cliché as it was. Even after all the inspiration and encouragement he could want, he still found himself at loss. His research led to nothing but dead ends. The residents of Wickshire offered no new insights and even tried discouraging his stay. They told him the house was cursed, and the spirit of the witch still lived there. To his dismay, he hadn't encountered anything supernatural during his stay. No strange occurrences or noises. It was just an ordinary house. The only thing which troubled him was his own failure, and because of that he hadn't had a decent sleep in weeks. Sarah shuffled and sat up in her bed, staring in the darkness at her father. Dad? Yes, sweetie. Am I in your book? Jason's eyes widened. There it was, his story, his ending, his legacy. It all clicked into place. Yes, you are, sweetie, and you know what? You're going to be a main character. Would you like that? Oh yes, Dad. Really? Sarah exclaimed. Jason left Sarah's bedroom and rushed to the kitchen in excitement, returning with his empty notebook and a paring knife. He forced a pillow over her head and plunged the knife deep into the feathers, again and again until his daughter went limp. Jason dipped his hand into the pooling blood and began writing above Sarah's headboard. He stared smiling at the message which will soon immortalize him. The crone made me do it. Solitary posted by you/campgoodfish. I've been here for a long fucking time, but I'm not crazy. Sometimes I think back to the days when I had my old cell. It wasn't much, but anything beat the 6x8 nightmare. The feeling of my fist hitting the C.O's jaw was extremely satisfying, but not worth this madness. I noticed there was something wrong my first day in this room. A strange sickness came over my whole body, racking me with shakes and cold sweats. It seemed like it would never end, but when it did, something strange started. I was sitting in bed looking at the corner and slowly losing my mind when he appeared as an almost dreamlike ghost apparition. I told myself I was clearly hallucinating, but then the strange blur became more solid, but not completely. It took the shape of a man about my height and stature but lighter hair. I reached out and my hand passed through his colored silhouette easily, and he made no moves to show acknowledgement. Nor did he hear my words. I studied him for a while and I noticed he would move around the room in the same bored fashion as myself. I wasn't exactly threatened by his presence, but the experience was interesting to say the least. He'd fade in and out some days, but most were the same. I often thought, perhaps his spirit was stuck here in his personal boxy hell, and that made me feared for my own soul. I didn't mind the company even if he didn't know I was there. Observation passed the time quite nicely. One day, I was snapped out of my trance by a guard's deep muffled voice. Peters. My heart leapt for a semi-second, then flinched. Peters. Who the fuck is Peters? My last name is Smith. Yes. A voice startled me from behind and I look over to see my ghost friend's face lighting up. Get ready, you're going back to Gen Pop, said the man fiddling with keys in the door. Peters jumped out of his slumped corner position and walked over to the opening exit. Before I was able to stop the swinging hinge, it slammed itself shut behind him. Hey. What the fuck is going on? I scream at both men outside the small window, but neither looked up as they walked away. Before leaving, I hear a small exchange between the two. Thank God. I couldn't do it any longer. That cell is haunted, man. Bad vibes. The guard huffs a short laugh and responded. You might be right, inmate. Play your cards right and you won't end up like the last guy. She finds it difficult to bathe now, posted by you/Captain L. Every time she is about to bathe, she finds it difficult to touch the water, to be in the bathroom. She finds it difficult to take a bath. The water in the tub reminds of her of that day in January, 7 years back. It reminds her of that day when her world, as she knew it, fell apart in a matter of minutes. That day in January, 7 years back. Her older kids were playing on the terrace. One was 8, the other 7. Kids are kids, and kids sometimes think that some things are fun. Kids are curious, and in innocent curiosity the older child got hold of a knife and stabbed the younger one. Once, twice, thrice. He was curious. It was fun. The 7-year-old screamed. Screamed out loud. She was bathing her youngest of 2 years in a tub. She heard the scream. She ran 3 floors up, anxiously calling out what was wrong. Why are you screaming, dear child? His brother lying in blood, screaming in agony. The oldest child knew he had done something wrong. He heard the mother come upstairs. He did what any child would do to escape a scolding. He jumped off the 3rd floor terrace. After those few minutes, one died on the grill, other with a knife in his stomach, and the youngest drowned in the tub. Now, the world went silent when he told me the story. She finds it difficult to bathe now, he tells me. He sips his beer, he takes a drag. I am scared, I want to hug him.